Do you have an idea for a digital course, but you're not sure how to piece it all together? My mom and I grew our digital course and coaching business from scratch to $300,000 in sales in just 10 months, which is kind of crazy considering that when we started, all we had was an idea. We were complete social media nobodies. No audience, no influence. We didn't know how to create a digital course, much less how to market and sell one. And while it was tempting to give in to overwhelm, we found that with the right plan, creating our profitable digital course was actually pretty darn simple, and it turned out to be a lot of fun, and the same can be true for you. In this video, I'm going to share our unique course creation process that hopefully will empower you to fill that blank piece of paper with a curriculum so that you can create a digital course that sells and gets results for your customers. My name is Jordan Maley. I'm the co-founder of the Global Freedom Community alongside my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider, where we give entrepreneurs the blueprint to start, grow, and automate your online business so that you can create a profitable social media presence and a business that works for you 24/7 so you don't have to. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We put out great new videos just like this one on this channel every single week, and I don't want you to miss the next free training we release. I don't know about you, but when we first started thinking about an idea for a course, it felt like this vague, kind of obscure thing that was just floating out there in space. It was hard to get a hold of. Our ideas felt really big and cluttered, and if we allowed ourselves to stay in that place, the idea of actually creating a digital course felt overwhelming enough to keep us from even getting started. Maybe you can relate. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the word curriculum, and before she became an entrepreneur, my mom was actually a teacher, and I really do think that her experience helped us a lot when we decided to start creating courses and coaching programs of our own. Whether you are creating a simple 60-minute masterclass course or a 6-module signature program, it all starts the same way, with taking that vague, floaty idea and giving it some bones. This is why the first thing that my mom and I do anytime we get ready to create a new course is open up a Google Doc. Google Docs is Google's free version of Microsoft Word, and we love it because once a doc is created, it can be shared and viewed and edited from any device, which makes it ideal for the two of us when we're working on projects together. We can each open it up on our computer and even be typing in the document at the same time as we start to brainstorm and outline our course. Before you start outlining, there are a couple of things that you'll want to keep at the front of your mind, all right? First of all, what type of course are you planning to create? Will this be a micro offer that someone can complete and take action on in 60 to 90 minutes? A mini course that they can finish in a weekend? Or is this a signature program that's going to take them on a journey and adventure of creating a big transformation that they really, really want? And speaking of transformation, that's the other thing that you want to keep in mind in this big promise of your course. What transformation is it going to provide your customer? You're not selling the modules or the training videos or the worksheets or the bonuses. You are selling the before and after. You're selling the result. So keeping this in mind as you continue and begin outlining your course, this is going to keep you from making the course too big or too small. Although I'll say from personal experience and from working with our clients, most of us tend to put a little too much into the courses versus giving too little. More content does not equal more value, and often it's the smallest courses that pack the biggest punch. So you want your course to include exactly enough to deliver the transformation you promise without anything else that they don't need. Write your big promise and the type of course you're working on at the top of your document. And now you're ready to start brainstorming. We have found that it works best to ask lots of questions as if we were the student. As a course creator, one of the hardest things to do is put yourself back in the shoes of a beginner. Some questions you could ask yourself would be, based on what I'm teaching, what is my process? What steps did I go through to get from before to after? What skills did I learn in order to do this process effectively? What tools did I use? What's something that I wish I had known sooner? Think broad. What do your students need to know in order to move on to the next step? Your brain may work differently than ours does, but what my mom and I have found to work best is to start with a really broad outline and then fill in the details. Think of the broad outline like chapters in a book. These are going to be your modules. If you're creating a small course like a micro offer, you may just have one module, like our micro offer, Posting for Profits. If your course is following a specific framework, strategy, or method, with each step in your process being a different module, that might be something more like a signature course. This is how we structured Laptop Lifestyle Academy, which has 5 core modules and a full tech tutorial library. Inside that course outline, our categories were pre-work, which covers all the things a student needs to know before they can start creating their first funnel. Module 1 is Attract, and in this module, we cover everything that goes into attracting an audience of buyers. And then we move on to Module 2, which is Capture, and this is where we help students capture leads by building their first funnel. Now, a student can't create that funnel if they don't know their brand direction or what they want to be known for, and at least have a general idea of what they want to sell. That is all covered in the pre-work. And they won't get any leads to their funnel if they don't know how to attract an audience of buyers, an audience of people who are eager to buy what they sell. That's all covered in the Attract module. I hope that makes sense. Once you have the broader categories lined out, it's time to start filling in the details. What are the steps someone needs to go through? What do they need to know? What do they need to understand before they're ready to create and move on to the next step? The answer to these questions become your lessons. And again, with a micro offer, your course may only have one lesson, or you could have a dozen lessons all within one module. There's really no wrong or right other than to remember what I mentioned earlier, and that is you want your course to include exactly enough to deliver the transformation you promise without anything extra that they don't need. As you're adding each lesson to your outline, ask yourself, what companion resources, if any, need to go along with this lesson? Is there a worksheet, a checklist, a template? Do you need to provide links or tech tutorials? Add these into your outline next to each lesson. Once you have a skeleton of your course created, it's time for bonuses. You want your course to include 3 to 7 bonuses that will enhance your students' experience. A good rule of thumb when thinking of bonuses is to ask yourself, what could I add to this course that would allow my students to consume and take action on the material faster, easier, and with less headache? Things like tutorials, templates, a Facebook community, a group coaching Zoom. These make really great bonuses. We like to list bonuses out as their own category on our outline and then list each bonus like it is its own lesson. Now that you have the outline, it's time to start creating. And I want to offer a word of caution for you here. There is a very fine line between rushing into the course creation process and preparing for it too much. Often in the creating the lessons, that is where my mom and I have ideas for additional resources, bonuses, or sometimes even additional lessons that we need to include in our course. So avoid feeling like your outline needs to be perfect before you begin. You do want to have a general idea so you don't end up going back and having to re-record things or do work twice, but just know that your course likely won't really take shape until you start really putting it together. We create slide decks for each of our lessons inside Canva. Each lesson follows the same format. We share the title, what we'll be covering, and then we share why this is important and how it ties into the other things we may have already covered or will be covering. So, for example, in Module 4 of Laptop Lifestyle Academy, where we help our students create and sell their first micro offer, we have a video on how to create your checkout confirmation page. This seems totally backwards because it's the first thing we have them create in that module. So in that lesson, we explain that why we have them build their offer in reverse and how that confirmation page will fit into the overall process once they're done. From there, we move on to the actual teaching segment of the lesson, and then we end with a homework or action step slide. Some of the videos are under 5 minutes, while others are closer to 25 minutes. Again, you want each lesson to include exactly enough to deliver the transformation you promise within that lesson, like creating a checkout confirmation page, without anything extra they don't need. We typically record one lesson at a time, usually using Zoom, and then we go ahead and upload it into our course hosting software before moving on to the next lesson. Not only is this really fun because this is the part where your course really starts to feel real, but it also starts to give you an idea of how the course will look overall, which is a great place to notice if anything needs to be added or rearranged. We host our courses inside Kajabi because it is such a powerful and reliable all-in-one platform. You can host courses, create communities, take payments, even host your entire website, blog, or podcast all within Kajabi. It is truly fantastic. And they have great templates for creating your course, which makes it really easy to take your video lessons and load them up into a course format that your students will really love. A couple of quick things before we wrap this up. First, you want to make sure that you create additional modules within your course for welcoming your students and showing them how to contact support. Once your course is complete, you can even do a recording where you share the screen and take students on a tour of the entire back office area so they know how to find everything. But don't feel like your course has to be completed before you start selling it. Create 1 or 2 modules and then release additional modules weekly as your students go through the course. This is a great way to rely on student feedback for any additional resources or lessons you need to add along the way. And if you need help selling your course, which who doesn't, right? Then I highly recommend you check out our free Scratch to 20K Masterclass, where we share the exact 5-step system we followed to go from our very first course sale to consistent 20K months in just 90 days. The last thing we want is for you to create this gorgeous, super valuable course that no one ever sees because it's not getting sold to your ideal clients. This class is going to help you avoid that. You can reserve your seat at globalfreedomcommunity.com/free training, and I will link it below for you as well. All right, that's all I got for today. If you want to learn more about selling your digital course, check out this video on how to sell anything with webinars. Just don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go so you'll be notified the next time we release a new video on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.